allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bates.
Here.
Dahl. Here. Villalobos.
Here.
Harvey. Here. Pender.
Here.
Claire. Here. Doty.
Here.
Rochester.
Here.
So tonight, because it is School Board Appreciation this evening, and because we have a lot of our youngsters here to do a presentation as we do every year, we are going to let the kiddos go first and do their presentation for Yough School Board and the statewide PSBA School Board Member Recognition Month. So with that being said, I believe we have our middle school this evening that is here to do some presenting. Mr. Stack.
It's an honor to stand here tonight in front of all of you, not only representing the middle school, but representing all students, staff, and administrators here for the Yough School District for Board Appreciation Night. What we have for you tonight are 3 gifts to say thank you for your service, your time, and your commitment that you make to all of us here at Yough. First, you have a letter here in front of you, and I'm sure that most of your children brought these home and you have them somewhere laying around your house at some point, so now you have your own. Second, you are going to get a mug here that is also made by our kids. And then third, each of the students is going to come up and they are going to talk about one of the concepts that ties into our kindness theme this year. They are going to present a definition of that word. They are going to give a quote. And for the new board members, that quote that they are doing tonight will be the one that will go up on the board up there for you next month. And then they're going to talk about what that word means in terms of our Choosing Kind theme that was created by Dr. Sarden 2 years ago. So without further ado.
My name is Sydney Bergman, and I have a cup here for Mr. Bates. My word is hope. Hope means to cherish a desire with anticipation, to want something to happen or be true. Maintain hope. With the power of thought comes the power to think positively or negatively. I believe that if everyone has a positive mindset, we can make a change for the better. Mr. Bates, thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with hope, the hope that Yough will continue to grow and influence anybody inside of the school district. The hope that if we are unified, we can work together and accomplish anything we dream of. The hope that when parents see their children succeed from Yough, that they have positivity and opportunities. Finally, the hope that they too can fulfill their hopes and dreams. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Xander. My cup is for Mrs. Dahl. Friendship is defined as being attached to another by affection, a shared interest, and mutual respect. In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King Jr. Mrs. Dahl, thank you for your service in the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with the belief that through hard work, commitment, and developing friendships as part of this service, that students of Yough will get a quality education, an education that will prepare them for any task, no matter how big or how small, and any career they choose as their future. Many people overlook the job of a school board member, although it is the job that keeps the school running. Thank you, Mrs. Dahl, for your dedication to the Yough School Board.
Hi, my name is Lily Keller, and I have a cup for Mr. Villalobos. Mr. Jared Villalobos, kindness is defined as having a sympathetic and helpful nature. Kindness is a mindset that treats all with respect, dignity, and compassion. To quote Helen James, love and kindness are never wasted. They always make a difference.
you fill your cup with ideals of kindness. Next to love, there may be no stronger word in the world. Kindness can make more powerful changes than any other way one chooses to lead. Yough has embraced the concept of kind district-wide. We celebrate kindness daily in each building. I thank you for your love and support of our administration and for working together in a kind way. Thank you for treating the students, staff, and community members with a kind and understanding heart. No matter which path we choose in life, no concept we learn will be as important as being kind.
My name is Yough, and I have a cup for Miss Harvey. Miss Harvey, respect is defined as holding an idea, an organization, or a philosophy in high regard. Make improvements, not excuses. Seek respect, not attention. Miss Harvey, thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with the ideals of respect. Respect is earned. Respect is a foundation of all successful people and organizations. Respect is differences in opinions and mindsets. Respect yourself and others. Respect your accomplishments as a board member and community member as an individual. We are grateful for your service, the respect you display to all educational stakeholders, and the respect you have given each student to make the best decisions for our future. We thank you for your hard work, your caring, and your willingness to respect and work together for our future. I'm Lauren Kenders, and I have a cup for my dad, Steve Kenders.
No pressure.
Faith is defined as a belief, a conviction, a dedication to a cause or a person to improve and maintain a positive atmosphere or way of living. It is the things that we go through that prove our faith and test our character. Dad, thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. You have taught me to have faith in myself and others, never give up, stay positive, and most importantly, be kind. I have faith in you because I have watched you work hard, take on responsibilities, and you're always there for anyone who needs you. I ask you to fill your cup with faith in the people around you and faith in us, the students. We follow your lead, and by doing so, we will be stronger and successful. With your faith and the faith of the other members of the Yough School Board, we will strive to make the world a better place, and for everyone to be the best they can be. Hello, my name is Nora Knopp, and I have a cup for Mrs. Nancy McLaren. Mrs. McLaren, happiness is defined as a feeling of delight, satisfaction, and an emotion of deriving pleasure in the good fortune of oneself and others. To quote Mary Stuart, otherwise known as the Queen of Scotland, to be kind to all, to like many and love a few, to be needed and wanted by those we love is certainly the nearest thing we can come to happiness. Mrs. McLaren, thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with happiness and joy. Whenever you think of your service and commitment that you provide, look back on it with happiness and joy. There's absolutely no limitations to your heart. You have devotion, selflessness, and kindness nestled in each nook and cranny. We know that you will make great decisions as they are reflected from your heart. As Yough students, we know that our key to success as individuals is happiness and joy that comes from your heart.
Hi, I'm Yough, and I have a cup from my dad, Greg Yough. Pride is defined as having high regard, respect, and admiration for oneself, a person, a group of people, or an organization. Be proud of who you are and not ashamed of how someone else sees you. Dad, the job of a school board member is tough, the hours long, the thanks few and far apart. Too often, we forget about the personal sacrifices school board members make. Tonight, I would like to thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with a sense of pride for being a great example to me of community responsibility. Take pride in all you do and your willingness to serve our community. Take pride in your fellow members and the ability to work work together towards preparing today's students to be tomorrow's leaders. But most of all, take pride in knowing that you care enough for the schools and students to give so tirelessly of yourself.
Mr. Novovchik, teamwork is defined as collaboration, cooperation, and coordination to achieve a common goal or standard. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Henry Ford. Mr. Novovchik, thank you for your service in the Yough School District. I ask that you fill your cup with the idea of teamwork. Together, everybody achieves more. You are a member of a team dedicated to serving the best interests of the students, the staff, administration, and the community of Yough School District. The ability to work together to display teamwork ensures that we, students of the Yough, will be successful in our endeavors. We appreciate your time, your efforts, and your ability to work as a team for our future.
We're still going to do.
You still do.
We're still doing.
My name is Alyssa Polarski, and I have a cup for Miss Amy Yough. Miss Amy Yough, hard work is defined as efforts put forth to successfully achieve a goal, a desired outcome, a dream. No one has ever drowned in their own sweat. Miss Yough, thank you for your service on the Yough School Board. I ask that you fill your cup with the concept of working hard. Through your hard work as a board member, along with the current and past members, the students, staff, administration, and community of the Yough School District has flourished. We are all privileged to walk into schools where education is the priority, where we have amazing teachers and the necessary materials to succeed. We recognize your sacrifice to serving us. We recognize your time commitment. We recognize the efforts, the hard work that you, all the board members and administration make to ensure that we all have a great education.
Hello, my name is Lucas Lomba, and I have a cup for Mr. James Meyer. Responsibility is defined as the ability to be accountable, liable, and understanding the differences between choosing a right or wrong way of conducting oneself and business. The moment you take responsibility for everything in your life is the moment that you can change anything in your life. Hal Elrod. Mr. Meyer, thank you for your service with the Yough School District, working with our school board. As that you fill your cup with the concept of responsibility, it takes a great responsibility to serve a school district, a community, and the families and students that make up both. I appreciate your desire to be responsible when it comes to making sound economic decisions that serve the best interests of the students and families and taxpayers of our district. Thank you for working with Dr. Sargent and our school board to make these tough but important decisions and allowing us to work towards a quality education.
Dr. Sullivan, a leader is one who provides direction, a vision, and the ability to motivate and bring people together for a common cause. A true leader inspires and educates others to be better than they thought they could ever be. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. She does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of her actions and the integrity of her intent. Douglas McAuliffe. Dr. Sullivan, I know we only have a lot in common. Great personality,
But I bet you didn't know that we started both our journeys at the same time. I entered into kindergarten the same year you became superintendent of the Yough School District. It is a privilege to stand here today and thank you for your service to the Yough School District. Your kindness, your vision, and leading our community. Under your leadership, Yough has flourished academically and within the community. I am proud to have you here as the leader of Yough School District. Therefore, I ask that you continue to fill your cup with the characteristics of a great leader. Continue to work hard, continue to inspire students, staff, parents, and the Yough community as a whole. Continue to come to work every day, not afraid to make the tough decisions, but always making decisions that is in the best interest of the students and community. Thank you for your shared vision of combining academic success and doing so with a kind heart. Thank you for what you do each and every day, as Yough is always in your heart and your highest priority.
It is Emma's birthday, and she just did this after going to the dentist. So she's teeth trailed, but it's still smoke. Mr. Natale, you want to come on up here real quick, and then I'm going to say something, and then just get started.
You get a great picture. You get a great picture. Make sure you get
On behalf of myself, the students, and the staff, the middle school, and all the schools, I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication of the Yough School District, and it's a pleasure and honor to work for you each and every day. If we can just all join me and give them a round of applause, please.
Before they leave, they ask if I have a word, and I have to read from them unless they were nervous about reading from their paper and they didn't want to memorize it. So I said, listen, I'll do the same thing that you do. So my word is opportunity. We speak often at the middle school to students and staff about the challenges that they face every single day. And within those challenges, we talk about how there is an opportunity. An opportunity every single day to get better, to learn, and to move towards greatness. When we talk about greatness, we always define greatness at the middle school, and when we talk to staff about greatness is in your heart and it is in your mind. How do you define greatness? But every single day, you should strive as a student, as a staff member, as an administrator towards greatness. And why should you do that? Why? It is because they deserve it. There's no other reason. It is for them. That's why we come to work every single day, to be great for them. So this is part of that. So on behalf of all of the students, in all of the buildings, in all of the staff, in all of the administrators, I say thank you for allowing us to showcase our students. Thank you for the opportunity that you grant me, all of our administrators, all of our staff members to work daily with these amazing kids. And thank you for what you do. Your time and the opportunities that you have and the commitments that you make to work with Dr. Sarden and all of us to ensure that you always do what's best for kids. Thank you. You are excused.
Right, you didn't have a choice. You didn't even know what that was. I can't believe I'm going to. So while the kiddos are going home to study and do what they do before they go to sleep this evening, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Mr. Schmedick and Mr. Natale for their hard work, for their dedication. I want to say thank you to the students that were here tonight, whether they were here helping as part of the presentation. And I can tell you, when you're in grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, to get up in front of any people, let alone a room full of people, and be able to speak as eloquently as they did, is really something to be said for, because that is very difficult. And a lot of us, even as adults, to get up and to speak in front of a group of people is stressful. So imagine when you're a young child and kind of finding your way to be able to do that. So give Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Talley there, just one more round of applause. So PSBA every year does a resolution. I'm just going to take a second to read that. Whereas the role of locally elected school officials has served the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and local communities in meeting the needs of public education since the passage of the Free School Act in 1834, and whereas these local boards have discharged their responsibilities to public education in a manner which has placed public education in the forefront of our educational system, and whereas local elected officials have distinguished themselves and their communities in this non-paid, volunteer, public service commitment, and whereas the contributions of these men and women should be recognized and appreciated by those who benefit from the workings of our public school system. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association hereby proclaims the month of January as School Director Recognition Month in this Commonwealth. And further resolved that this proclamation be communicated to all school districts, school officials, and local communities in a planned program which brings visibility and awareness of the role of locally elected officials to the citizenry of this Commonwealth. And that was unanimously approved back in 1985 and reaffirmed Monday, December 2nd, 2019. So with that being said, I personally want to say thank you to our current board who has taken on the role just in December and has been working hard over the last month to make good decisions and do what is in the best interest of kids. I want to say thank you to the board that has served over the last year to do those same things. You know, our philosophy as a school district, and the kids put it best. Our philosophy as a school district is to work together for the benefit of the kids. Without the kids and without us supporting their programming, there really is no reason for us to be here. So with that being said, I want to personally thank the board for their hard work and for their dedication. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Sargent. Public comment on agenda items only?
Are there?
This is concerning the audit report, okay? And I'd like to say that I read pretty much all 58 pages of this, and it is very, very difficult reading, so I can understand where a lot of board members here might be having also additional questions dealing with this audit report. I could probably sit on and talk about the audit report probably for a good half an hour or more, but I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can. And so I just want to kind of hit on the highlights, and I'm hoping that when we do the budget, that a lot of these things that were in the audit report can be also further explained. Okay. Now on page 4, they list total assets for the school district. The total assets decreased. They originally, and I'm going to round some of these numbers off, they were originally about 24.7 million, and they went down to about 24.5 million, a decrease of almost about $200,000. And this would include land, buildings, equipment. They used a straight line depreciation to do this. It was on page 29 as far as how they depreciate the building. Now my question to you is, it seems like from looking at this audit report that as the assets go down, the liabilities go up. Is this true?
Not necessarily, no. Because I'll give you one example. In your liability end, we make roughly $2.9 million in bond payments a year. So you'll see the liability end for short and long-term bond payments go down on the liability end also.
Okay, but also too, if the depreciation of the buildings go down, okay, then if you're looking at it over 50 years, then that would mean by 2042 that the buildings would probably have very little assets to them.
Fully depreciated.
Fully depreciated.
They would be fully depreciated, but they would still have, we would have to get them reassessed, but they would still have a value to them.
Okay.
They could do at that time.
Okay, I also looked to it, the bond maturity, and one of the things I wanted to comment on, it's just a shame that throughout the course of years, that had there been a law or something stipulated with school boards, that if they wanted to refinance a bond issue, that the bond can only be reissued at the same date of maturity as the original bond. Because when you look back at this, and these bonds won't mature until 2034, had the original issues of these bonds back in 92 and 94 been paid off in time, we would have been saving approximately about $1 million a year in interest. Okay. My next question here is on liabilities. They have on page 5 that the liabilities decreased primarily about $2.6 million from the previous year, and it says due primarily to the pension fund. Was it because of the performance of the stock market that the pension fund liability went down?
We are required, and when I say we, all 500 school districts across Pennsylvania, the PCERS group out of Harrisburg sends each school district their actuarial numbers for pension liabilities for the employees that they have on staff. And I'll use me for example. They project me to retire at age 62. They project my PCERS earnings and the district's liability into that account. So when you look at the audit, you'll see a large number. $46 million, I think is the number. I don't have it out in front of me. I think it's on the liability end. They'll say net PCERS liability, $46 million.
Yeah, 46.8.
Yeah, it's taking the employees that we have on staff, they're looking at their age, their normal retirement period, and there's an actuarial study done. And what the state is doing is they're projecting their future liabilities, again, across all 500 school districts. They're projecting their future liability of retirement expense. And then they break it down by school district, okay?
Okay.
So when you go back to your question, it dropped because of the market. That could play into the numbers that are presented to us as a school district from Harrisburg, so to speak. That plays into it. It plays into the fact that the PCERS rate goes up each year. Right now, we're paying 34.29% of every dollar spent on salaries is going into that fund. So there's more assets going into that fund, and you probably are correct. The market did well this past couple of years, so there's a greater earnings on their end for that, which probably dropped our liability going forward.
So
But
then,
that all plays in together, and it's a number. That $46 million number isn't a number that is generated here at a local level. That is handed to us by the state of Pennsylvania.
district still contributing to that retiree's pension, or is the state picking up the whole entire amount?
Ma'am, you've exceeded 5 minutes at this point. There's going to be no to the law.
I'd like to hear the answer to
The limit.
that.
Limits for,
Yeah.
I mean, how much time do you need? I mean, I think.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
I'll be honest with you, I've been here 2 years, no one's ever commented under the public comments, so I'd like to hear what she has to say. I mean, we're not gonna be here half an hour, I'm sure you can wrap
No,
it up.
I have a lot of questions. I mean, if you want me to cut it short, I will. There's a lot of things I think here that, we talk about education, but what it boils down to, everything wrong in the school district revolves about money. You talk about doing things for the students. If you have the money, you can do everything you can for the students. But when you look at this financial situation here, there are a lot of questions that I would really like to raise. So, but I mean, if you want to cut me off,
Well, I think the issue is, and with all due respect, we have those procedures and protocols in place for the 4 minutes. I think that it's not a matter of cutting you off, it's a matter of kind of following through with that a little bit, because as you give extra time to people, anybody that comes, you need to allot them that same thing. But I can tell you that when the board posted the letter of interest last week for somebody to be involved, in the Budget and Finance Committee, Ms. Vickers did put in to be involved with that. So that would be a means in which we can get your plethora of questions answered if the board would so choose you to be a part of that committee. And then you can get the answers that you need. But I would imagine the solicitor would recommend to kind of stick with that 4 minutes unless you're planning on allowing that with all people that are getting up to speed. Yeah.
We would keep track of the time, you just have to allot that to anybody else.
What's correct in every meeting.
Yeah.
Yes. So he could answer obviously your last question.
Okay, I had a lot more, but that's all right.
You can ask those as part of that committee, you're welcome to.
Just to answer the question you did ask, when somebody is retired, does the district contribute that? No. As I mentioned, the rate is 34.29%. That's what the district contributes to active employees. Once you retire, you are off the district's books, and we no longer contribute to that retirement.
Okay, all right, well, like I said, okay, I had, like I said, a lot more pages, but, okay, I'll end it, thank you.
Student Representatives Sarah and Kate.
We have a new member joining the school board representative. Christian Heller will be introducing himself.
Hello, I'm Christian Hello. I am the class president for the junior class, and I will be joining you as your newest school board representative.
Welcome.
In student council, we sort of helped out with Santa and his elves with the library program with the first graders. There were 17 elves and Santa. The annual talent show was held on December 20th. $1,000 was raised to be donated to the Red Cross and the Caring Place. In CAPSAD, they collected over 200 toys for the West Point County Toys for Tots. Additionally, they volunteered at Overly's Country Christmas on December 15th. NHS recently volunteered at Toys for Tots distribution at Greensburg area. Also, they raised $640 as part of a donation to the Vilchek family and their battle against ALS. NHS induction for new members will be on March 11th. Prom committee, they are hosting a dress drive in order to help the Norman Christian Church's Blessing Boutique, which offers free prom dresses to our students. Additionally, they are looking ahead to start planning for the scenery, centerpieces, and decorations for prom. The mentoring committee signed a commitment to graduate for all the freshmen. They'll also be ending their program, and they'll be holding a pancake breakfast. FBLA competed in the regional competition, December 18th. We had 2 students qualify for the state level competition, Jasmine Bingaman in journalism and Kaden Castronis in personal finance. They'll compete at Hershey in April. The Future is Mine held a Moving Up to College Day for juniors and seniors, where the alumni came back and talked about their experiences in college. The National Art Honor Society was getting ready to do their mural at the West Newton Elementary in their steam room. They'll also be making snowflakes for Mendon's Parent Night. Additionally, they will be doing a mural at the Hermie VFC. FCA will be doing an outreach to the maintenance staff. Well, they did an outreach for Christmas. They'll also be holding a field trip to the Winter Jam this Friday. In Pride Club, they are working on their self-confidence and being kind to one another. We are currently designing t-shirts for their club members, and the funds will be used from the bake sales to provide it. Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Under superintendent's report, I want to do a few congratulations this evening. I want to congratulate the following students for being selected as November Cougars of the Month. Grade 5, Brooke Kowalski and Sabrina Bergman. Grade 6, Hannah Linder and Olivia Singer. Grade 7, Talon Shodel and Sydney Bergman. And grade 8, Wyatt Sleesman and Xander Harris. I also want to congratulate some of our teachers that received Donors Choose grants. Marla Frashura received a fabulous Fluent Readers grant in the amount of $382. Terry Stover received the Learning with Legos grant in the amount of $620. Kim Smith, Going Loon for Tunes in the amount of $550. And Sarah Hackney, Simple Machines in the amount of $574. We also had five 3 individual teachers, a pair of teachers, and a set of teachers that received Great Idea grants. Kim Smith received a grant for becoming bigger and better book buddies. Jen Klobuchar received a grant for Multiplication Monday, a night of fun. Jess Macy, Inspiring Books for STEAM. Crystal Donaldson and Brian Grindle for Robotics and Coding, Fun, and Science. And our elementary title teachers, a lot about learning and after-school family events. So all of those received monies to do different projects in their classroom. I want to congratulate Devlin Smith, Aaron Lyons, and John Colacazo. They received a field trip to the museum lab for the Create Inc. Kids through a Chevron grant. And finally, Rachel Reisman received grant funding for a field trip to the Science Center. The grant is valued at $1,160. So thank you to those teachers, and congratulations to those students who are doing a fantastic job. With that being said, we have one informational item this evening, and it is our budget information update from Mr. Meyer.
Thank you. In your packets are the budget performance report and reports down on a cash basis. I just want to report out that the current real estate tax collections for the month of December were down slightly than previous months. And that's particularly because the last week and a half in Christmas break, there was no deposits recorded. They will be recorded here in January. And the final DCED reports are due from our 7 tax collectors by January 31st. Any delinquent real estate taxes have to be turned over to the tax bureau by January 15th, which is tomorrow. At this point, I don't have any major concerns regarding the expenditure end. I will continue to monitor the expenditure end, and in February, I begin to project out for the rest of the year on the expenditure end and use that in the formation of the budget for next year. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer.
And that is, other than our previous presentation, that would be the end of my report, Mr. President.
Under Budget and Finance, I need a motion to approve items 1 through 4.
Can you pull out number 4?
Sure. I need a motion to approve items 1 through 3.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bache, second. Second by Harvey. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Need a motion to approve item number 4, general funds.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nogi, second.
I'll second.
Second by Novacek. Any questions?
Hi there. Is this regarding, you're talking about the regular bills per month, right? The add-ons that you put on from Friday, is this part of this?
Correct.
Okay. I have some questions. At the bottom, I might be skipping around, but under Amazon Capital Services, I believe that's pretty much at the,
It's at the bottom of the second section.
yeah, it is there.
Correct.
Can somebody explain to me what those are all for?
I can find it. For you. What page is it on?
What page is it?
16. 16.
There you go. So the Sensory Hallway decal pack, that is for a sensory classroom, that is through a grant. The retractable fire escape ladder is for safety purposes. If we would ever have an incident where we would need to get out of a area, and I'm gonna leave this kind of general, an area in this building, there are some areas that have vestibules where they have further drops than others, so we did purchase a ladder for that area. The supplies for the Great Idea grant, that would have been for one of those grants that we just spoke of earlier. One of the, either Jen Klobuchar or the book one that we just spoke about, and that is a grant. And the salt
Does
hoppers.
that mean that gets reimbursed to the district then?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, that money is already here, yes.
Uh-huh.
And then the salt hopper spreader was for this building to put on back of a Kubota in order to spread the salt and get it done in an efficient manner. And that is part of our equipment budget that was approved last year.
So does the maintenance people take care of the sidewalks, or do whoever we contract out
We take care of the
the
sidewalks here.
sidewalks?
Yes.
Did we have a salt spreader?
I think we had a hand spreader.
Okay, and how did they get that price and find that one that's there?
We always, anytime we go out to get prices, we get 3, even though we don't have to, there's a threshold at which you have to get 3 quotes. For that threshold there, you do not have to get 3, but we always, regardless of situation and circumstance, in order to be fiscally responsible, we always do get 3 quotes on things that we purchase with regard to equipment. So that would have been the less of the 3 quotes we received.
Okay, thank you. And also, on the audit for $3,000, are we paying them in installments, or why is that bill at the end on page?
That is their final installment.
The final
Their total
installment.
cost, I believe, this year was $18,000, that was their final installment.
Okay.
So we got it per month.
And there's another one for alterations. Is that reimbursed to the district for,
The magical dinner?
yes?
No, the alterations, those happen every year. I believe, I don't know if our chorus fund or one of those funds comes back from maybe one of those programs, but those are done every year. So I don't know if they reimburse that or not. I can't be sure if the chorus, any money that comes in from our chorus or our theatrical program covers the cost of that.
It's for $825, so I
Yeah.
was just wondering what they're getting altered.
Those gowns that they wear at the magical dinner, based on who participates, need altered in order to look proper. That is something that's been done as long as we've done the magical dinner here, but we can find out if there's any money that comes back to the district from those programs, but I'm not aware if there is. The only place it may come back is from theater, but that program's separate and run through the high school chorus class, so, we'll double
I
check.
just didn't know about how.
Yeah, we'll double
pricing-
check and see if we get any money back.
If they look at different people to do that. I mean, I appreciate the fact that it stays within the district, but I wasn't sure if they look at separate people or alterations to see who can get them.
I think part of the problem are
If
those
it's coming out
costumes.
of the Yough School District taxpayers.
Yeah, those costumes have been in that program for many, many years. And the alterations come based on what kids kind of can participate and fit in them year to year. So I would imagine they probably, quite honestly, for that amount, use the same person every year that knows and understands the costumes and materials. Because if we had to go out and buy new ones, it would cost pretty significantly
yes, I agree.
more. Yeah. So.
Any other questions? Ayes? All in favor? Aye.
No.
You gotta do roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Beach,
No.
Dahl. Yes. Harvey, yes. Kenders,
Yes.
McLaren,
Yes.
Nogie,
Yes.
Walchek,
Yes.
Philippos.
Yes.
Motion 8-1, or 7-1, sorry.
Secretary's report?
Executive sessions were held on the following dates: Tuesday, January 7th, 2020, before the meeting, personnel litigation, and Tuesday, January 14th, 2020, before the meeting for personnel litigation. You don't need to run that, that's, she should.
Under professional employees, there's nothing. Classified employees, I need a motion to approve items 1 and 2.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nogie, second.
I'll second.
Second by Novacek. Any board questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under athletic, I need a motion for items 1 through 3. Sorry.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, sir.
McLaren,
Motion by McLaren, second.
Second.
Second by H. Any questions?
yes, I do. Number 3, is she somebody new, or that's somebody that's been, is this a current employee?
She is new. Our major ed coach in the fall had, or our color major ed coach had quit in the fall. So that position was posted in the fall, then winter guard comes and it wasn't filled, so this is a new person.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Nogie, is second.
Second.
Second by Novacek. Any questions?
Is this a new employee, or is this a current coach?
It's a current coach moving to a different position. And we have to move all of
Yep.
it. Yeah, the soccer coach
Yes. 4 years.
Do a roll call?
Beach,
Yes. Aye.
Dahl,
Yes.
Harvey, yes, Kenders,
Yes.
McLaren,
Yes.
Noe,
Yes.
Novacek,
Yes.
Philippos.
Abstain. Motion carries. Under district operations, I need a motions for items 1 through 6.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second.
McLaren,
McLaren, any questions?
yes. Okay, number 6. Dr. Sargent, can you please explain just a quick background on what the Grade Point Resource Behavior Specialist contract is?
Yes. So, we wrote a grant as a district. Last year, we got about $286,000 to do different projects, school safety-wise in the district. The behavior specialist was part of that grant where we received $50,000 over a period of 2 years, this year and next year. And this position is someone that will come into the district. They will observe students. They will help us with students that maybe have some behavioral difficulties or challenges. They will recommend some evidence-based interventions. They will be in our district 5 days a week. They will rotate between elementary, middle school, and high school buildings. They will collect data, and they will work with us to make sure that some of our kids that maybe are a little more difficult, a little more challenging, or just need some help with behaviors, they will give us some extra expertise to help our staff, help our administrators, and help those kiddos be successful in school. So that is what this position is. It is not a position that after 2 years we would have any obligation to fill, and it is completely covered by the grant for the next 2 years. Grade Point Resources, we did look at a couple other places to provide this service, but the service they were able to provide was more in sync with our grant and exactly what we needed to meet the needs of our kids.
Okay, thank you.
Also, with mulching, I did reach out to the boosters, and, you know, they are open to possibly having a fundraiser to pay all or some of the price for the mulching.
That's fantastic.
So I'll get back to them.
That's fantastic. So what we'll do is I know we have already gotten, and, you know, we get our three, make sure we're under the cost that the board has approved. And we will start and go ahead and try to get scheduled to get that work started. So at the end, after our conversation, whatever the boosters are able and willing to give us, we are able and willing to accept. So
Right now,
we
obviously, the
appreciate that.
baseball trip.
Well, you're
is-
going in March, so I think March or whatever. But I appreciate their efforts in that, and I look forward to whatever they're able to share.
Thank you.
Any other board questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Can we have a roll call on number 4, please?
So when we do 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 is 1 and 4.
Okay, we could do that.
So do we have to go back and change that motion, Tricia? Can we amend it?
Is Mr. Novacek saying that they're willing to pay the Sumpler fundraiser, or that's yet to be determined?
It's yet to be determined, but
Okay.
they're willing, they're very open to it.
But nothing's been decided at this point, correct?
Not by them, correct.
Okay, so yeah, I want that one pulled, please.
Yeah. So can we amend the motion?
Whoever made the motion.
Has to amend the second also.
So I think Paige made the motion. Would you amend that Kenny, to do
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 5, and 6?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to be just 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
And we need a second.
Second.
Second by Noe.
Can it be seconded by somebody different than we did the first time?
We would ask the second.
So the second, Nancy, should be you just on that amended motion? Because you motioned the first
Sure.
time. Okay. So we have amended motion on items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, with the motion made by Bajan and second by McLaren.
Any other board questions? All in favor of those motions, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
McLaren, just so you know, yeah, until I get more information about the boosters, I voted no for that.
We're gonna pull out
You-
4.
you'll vote.
Pull it out.
This is
Yeah,
not
we'll pull
out.
out 4 and do it in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. So are you good on 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6?
Yes.
Okay. So you're gonna do.
Okay, we're gonna do a motion
Yeah.
on item number 4.
That's
Do we
okay.
want to put any notes about the boosters looking into it, or we're gonna go ahead and then they're gonna
Yeah,
advise?
so what we'll do, we'll make notes in the meeting minutes that Mr. Novacek spoken to them. They haven't committed fully, but they are willing to do something, we'll make that noticeable, we would still move forward as the motion as presented, $3,500 at a maximum cost or a maximum of 2 days for a project not to exceed 7,000. We estimate it is gonna be less than that as far as days and time, but that is on the maximum. Whatever they're able to contribute, we'll be thankful for that, and we would do that in a public meeting and obviously recognize them for their contribution.
We get a motion?
Yeah, I have a question. Is there other bids for that, or is it just one?
We'll do the same thing that we do, even though we don't have to, we will get 3 quotes.
Right,
To
yeah, I
make
understand it's under 10,000.
Yeah, we will still, we always, when we do things like this, we always get 3 quotes to get the least cost. So we are doing that. And that's why it has a maximum on it, because we will not go above 3,500. So we're still looking to try to get lower, but it's gonna be around.
Have we contacted anybody other than the initial?
Yeah, we have 3 quotes. I think we're waiting on 1 to come back, but we will be under that. Not a lot. A little something, right?
Need a motion for item number 4.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Page, seconded by Dahl. Any other board questions? We're gonna do a roll call.
H,
Yes.
Dahl? Yes. Harvey? Yes. Kenders?
Yes.
McLaren?
No.
Nogie?
Yes.
Navachin?
Yes.
Philipos?
Yes. Motion carries. Board reports, WIU 7, Mr. Kenders.
No report, first meeting is on the 28th, so.
CWCTC report, Mrs. Dahl.
Nothing to report, meeting will be January the 22nd.
PSBA report.
With PSBA, we started a new, it's called the Property Tax Reform, oh geez, what is the term for it? The Property Tax Reform, I'm sorry, but basically, we're looking into addressing the whole property tax issue and trying to get everybody into collaboration on changing the whole way we fund school districts through property taxes. It's a big initiative. It just started last week. We had the first meeting, the first phone meeting, and hopefully by the end of the year, we can have something that everybody, all the districts across the state can agree on, and we'll move forward with that. That's it.
Thank you, Ken. YEA report. No report. Athletic committee, Mr. Nogie.
We met this past Monday, yesterday, and we're continuing our process for varsity football coach, and we also interviewed, as you saw earlier tonight, we interviewed for the varsity boys soccer position as well. Our projected goal right now is, because I know there's a lot of people sitting here waiting for the football answer. We're projecting that we're gonna have an answer and a coach hopefully hired by the first meeting in February. That's our goal.
And we can vote at whether it's a work session or a regular meeting, so if the committee does have somebody that would, we do advertise those as voting meetings, so we could do that.
I also wanted to mention that I got with Tom a week or 2 ago about having Craig Spizak get the guys in the gym. I know I was getting a lot of phone calls and text messages from parents that were concerned about being January and the boys weren't working out yet. So Craig Spizak is going to be leading the football players, strength training. He's worked with the football team before. He's also our baseball coach. Pretty well respected and liked by most of the student athletes. And again, he will be working with them until there's a coach in place to take over for him.
And they have had lifting sessions last week, because I have heard it over the announcements, so.
Yeah, and Tom is going to, hopefully by the beginning of February, for parents that have middle school students coming to the high school next year, hopefully by the beginning of February, we're gonna have those boys involved as well, getting them into the gym to start working out with the high school football team.
Thank you, Greg. Under old business?
Under old business, Kennywood picnic day options for 2022. I did contact Courtney Bracco from Kennywood. They do not start scheduling Kennywood for 2022. due until the fall of this year, so the fall of 2020, like towards the end of summer, fall. I did share with her that we are interested in a weekday during the month of May, if possible, specifically the Monday prior to Memorial Day, but not Memorial Day. And she said to me that she will let us know if that is possible and when that new schedule comes out. So we'll make a note of that. I'll follow up sometime in the fall with her and see if we can get that done for 2022.
Thank you. Anything under new business?
Wait, I have some things about old business, a couple
Okay.
things about this audit report too, that, I'd just like to ask everybody on the board, did everybody go through that, or anybody take the time to read through a couple of pages? I mean, when the audit people were here, last week, they flipped through a bunch of pages and gave a bunch of terms, and I don't know if anybody took the time to really look through it, but, I like it to be on record, since I'm new to the board, that, you know, the deficit of June 30th, 2019 of the Yough School Board is $57,175,547. So, like they say here, that the future economic conditions, the financial outlook for the Yough School District is expected to be challenging in the next few years. And it states the district administration and staff are committed to controlling expenditures at or below budget, which I hope. Also on page 11, there's just some numbers here that stuck out to me, being one of the unused sick and vacation days, that the district is liable for $980,000 worth of, again, unused sick and vacation days. I had a question I was hoping, Jim, you could help me answer, on page 19 regarding our food services. That there was a deficit of $8,500. Can you tell me who pays for that and why we are having a deficit for food services? I mean, isn't that a contractual service? And
Yes,
it's-
but we contract with nutrition to provide food service, and we do approve their budget every year. But like any other budget, it's a budget, it's a guide versus actual cost of food and donate. To answer your question, $8,500 loss, that number gets carried forward into next year, and you hope you get a profit next year, and you draw that down. I can tell you, to answer your question, that probably the basis of that loss, probably outstanding food service student accounts that remain unpaid.
I thought there was policies in place regarding
I
outstanding.
can answer about the outstanding. So a few years ago, they passed that, I'm sure you've seen it, the anti-shaming law. So we do our best to chase down the money, so to say. We make phone calls, we send letters, we work on our free and reduced lunch applications. Those are due by October 1st. If people don't turn them in, we help them, we have them come into the school. But unfortunately, some parents maybe don't fill those out and they rack up a debt and they don't pay it. So we do our best to collect that money. Years ago, you provided alternative lunches, you did some of those things to help motivate families to do that, but that's illegal, we're not allowed to do that anymore. So we follow up and we do our very best, but they've also eliminated, you can't really take them anymore like to your local magistrate because of the cost of that. We have, over the course of the last couple of years, there's somebody at H.W. Good that will pay off like maybe H.W. Good student debts and, you know, wipe those clean. But we follow through, we try to get the money. It's to the point now where really your only option to garner some of those monies back is to turn it over to a collection agency, which I gotta tell you is a tough pill
Is
to
this
swallow.
going a trending upward or downward? I mean,
Since
it's
they-
$8,500, like
Listen,
how many
since-
kids aren't paying their bill?
And
Okay,
since,
so
and
we are
since
having,
we,
because we're,
since we put this
have to
in.
have some kind of motion here.
Well, right, since the law was put in place, we continue to do what we do, but it is trending upward because as a district, there's not a lot of recourse. It's awful. And it's not us, it's you could call every school district, unless they pay for free lunch in some kind of community-based program, it's all surrounding districts.
So that's another taxpayer amount that we.
But I can tell you, we do our best. I can tell you, we send letters all the time. I can tell you the principals call home. But unfortunately, sometimes that's on deaf ears, or families that maybe can't afford that and have racked up a debt before they can get stuff filled out. So, you know, we do the very best we can.
question is this deferred inflows of resources is an increase of 341,000. Can you give me a couple of examples of what's,
What page are you
7? It just says deferred inflows of resources. Unavailable property taxes, is that,
on? Yeah, I believe. What page is that?
Right here.
Yeah.
Page 7 in the front of the book.
Unavailable that is, that's your unpaid, either real estate or earned income taxes that get turned over to this one account. That's an accounts receivable liability that we carry on our books, and we hope to collect down in the future.
But they're not expected to be collected,
No,
and
that's
it notes that at the bottom.
Yeah.
Not expected to be collected within 60 days of the end of the fiscal period. So once that fiscal period is over, you might have collected, but it's after the time frame of which they conduct the
I was
audit.
just wondering what all included under that
Yeah.
category.
And when you talk both property and earned income taxes, even though our fiscal year ends June 30th, whatever we collect in July, August reverts back to the prior
Prior
year.
year, okay.
That's our common policy that we have in place.
Okay.
What happens if you collect it after that time frame?
And it gets booked in the new year.
It gets booked in the new year.
Okay. So, I really hope that people sort of go through this a little bit when they're thinking about what we're spending our money on this year. That's all I have. Thank you.
I think I asked this question a couple of years ago, this is about the lunches. And I don't remember what the answer was, but when we're pursuing someone to get them to pay the unpaid balance that they have, do we have any recourse with getting them to fill out like the free and reduced?
I mean, we can't.
We can't force them.
We can't force them, we can't punish them, but I can tell you, like, I've had principals go to houses and help people do it. I've had parents come into the school when we do it on our computers. We do everything possible to accommodate maybe families that are not, maybe don't know how to do it. We do all of those things, and we chase down families that maybe were on it. The big thing is, families that were on it the year before, you have to have your application filled out by October 1st. So we have a list come October 1st of families that had been on it, that aren't on it, that we have to start charging for lunches. And it's during that month of October that we really go hard after those families that we know need to get the form filled out, but maybe either need a little bit of help or just an extra nudge. Because with kids, you know what comes home in elementary or middle school folders and how busy it is. We're doing our very best to work with families, I think is the better term. We don't really have any recourse if they don't, other than we try to, and when we go and say a balance is $300 for a lunch that, we're real flexible. Like, if you can give us $5 a week, a month, we take whatever we can get for families, so we help. We do our very best.
I think a lot of times families don't realize just how broad that spectrum of what your income can be to receive free and reduced lunches, especially families with multiple children. I don't know, I mean, I don't know if there's any way that we can create a chart to send with that application, maybe that says, like if you have X number of dollars of income and X number of children, you can make this much and still be eligible.
We can maybe do some kind of pictorial representation.
That's what I'm saying, because a lot of times a visual.
Oh, is it on the application?
It's on the application itself. There is a grid on there that says household size, maximum income. Yeah, and it shows you what you come back. So it is on the application.
It's a shame that the state doesn't run some television commercials or something like that just to let people know. I mean, I don't think people realize that it also impacts the funds that the school receives in general, with the federal funds based on free and reduced lunches. I don't.
Well, right, because the higher our free and reduced, the more opportunities we have for grants.
Right.
And right now, our average across the district free and reduced is about 50%. So we're at that threshold where we qualify for some additional grants, but we're not at the threshold for a lot of additional grants. And we're kind of, correct, we're kind of in that middle, like we've reached the middle, and I think we've reached that 50% because of the hard work of the administration working with families. But I know that there's still families out there that, for reasons other than maybe pride, that won't do it. So there's also those factors that surround that as well. well. Thank you.
Anything else? New business? I have something under new business. I think that the board should look at citizens' comments, and I think if we're gonna interact with the people back and forth, that the board should consider extending time from just 4 minutes and look, maybe next meeting into extending time for the public, because we want them to give opinions. So I don't think we should be shutting them off at a certain time. So what time that is, I think we should look at that as a board.
I can tell you a couple months ago, the board passed a policy surrounding public comment and actually increased it from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. If the board wishes to do an additional increase in time of public comment, we can do that. That would be a policy item, so you would have to do a first and second reading of that policy because it is written policy.
Sometimes if you're looking to increase the public comment time and allow the citizens to speak longer, we recall that it's public comment, not question and answers. We let them get their whole comments out in the 4 minutes, and then we respond
Correct.
after their full 4 minutes.
So that would have allowed a couple more
So she
questions.
could have asked a litany of questions in 4 minutes, and then it would be on us to diligently take notes and be able to respond
Yeah,
appropriately.
because when we're interacting with them, it's eating up their time.
Yeah, and that's why we just remind everyone, it's public comment, take your 4 minutes, get your comments out, and then we respond rather than back and forth, because it does eat up people's time.
But I do think that we should look at maybe extending time, or maybe doing a first or second reading. That's just my opinion.
Sure, maybe when somebody wants to speak, then make them aware of the policy, like you said, they will then ask all their questions and then we can respond.
I think you want to be cautious of making it.
It's not like there's a line, there's probably 3 people.
I think all districts have right around where we are as far as 4 minutes with that
The highest I've
increase.
seen is 5, and the lowest is really
Oh, well.
Yeah.
maybe 1 or
So
2.
we're in the
You
middle.
sit and listen.
So if you want to do a motion or a policy change in that, then that would be something we do 2 readings in 2 months and get that passed. But I think today, we were even flexible in the time, because I was
Yeah,
at
it was
least 5 or 6
5,
minutes,
yeah.
so. But I would agree, like, let Nancy speak and get all her questions out. Her questions were pretty complicated, so to wait and get other complicated questions is a little
I
challenging.
don't think we can run it down.
No, so that would be the only thing, let her speak for the 4 minutes and then have response after that would at least allow some additional questions.
Could I just say something?
Possibly.
Yeah. Concerning that policy was probably put in effect probably 20, 30 years ago, when you had probably 10, 15, 20 people wanting to speak up at the microphone, not just one at a meeting, 1 or 2 at a meeting.
Well, that's
When it
certainly
used
the
to
reason.
take, pardon me?
That's certainly the reason.
Yeah, but when you have 15, 20 people wanting to talk, yes, I can understand eliminating one. So when you only have 1 or 2 people, I mean, you know.
We're not gonna do anything tonight. I think the board should discuss it, and I think that we should look into that. I think,
Oh, okay, yeah, Mrs. Kenora also brought up another point from a long time ago too. Years ago too, if you wanted it more extended time, then you wrote a letter to the board.
Which
You
is
could
still
have
in
all
our,
the time
which
you
is
want.
still in our policy, which
Then
is
you
still.
wouldn't limit me to 4 minutes if I wrote a letter every month.
I don't know that we would do it in a public forum, but we would allow additional time to meet with the board, not necessarily here. And the policy does state you can request additional. It does still request that, it's exactly what's in the policy.
Usually that's for presentation.
It's for a presentation.
Yeah, I think years ago, maybe when you were on the board, you informed the superintendent or someone in central office that you wanted to speak at the meeting, and they would keep a list. And they come in, and there was only a lot of time total for comments. I'm gonna say maybe a half an hour. And that's when there was a lot of people wanting to speak. So that's what you were there.
Yeah, usually the policy is that, usually it's a lot per person, but you
Yeah.
have a total time.
I can tell you, our policy right now states 4 minutes, but then it also has limitations, so say, 35 people showed up here with regard to what you're talking about, district liability. There is a limit to 30 minutes on any one singular topic by any number of given people, is how our policy is stated right now. The other thing too is, I mean, as far as, you know, you had those, some comments, I believe, last week as part of public comment. I believe that Mr. Meyer, if he hasn't already given it to you, did some preparation based on some of your questions, which we're always happy to do as well. So I know that he answered some of those questions in writing to you this week, which he shared with you as well as with the board. So those are all things too. I mean, I think the goal here is to provide you the information you need. So I don't see an issue with however it's handled.
Anything else under new business? Solicitors report?
I have no additional report. You might be here tonight, but I want to say I come to these meetings a lot. Every night I go to a different school district. And those students were very impressive.
Were they?
Everybody.
They were fantastic.
So proud of them. They did an excellent job.
Citizens' comments?
I have one.
Hi everyone, Shane Smithton. Currently the middle school head coach. My question involves the varsity head coaching football position. I just kind of wanted to get what the expectations were on it. I know that a number of people interviewed for it, myself included. My thought process, and I can only speak for myself, is I know what I bring to the table with the boys that are currently in high school and that are coming up. I've won with all of them. So again, just curiously, what is taking so long with the process? Whether it's me, Coach Wood, one of the other applicants, what's going on with it? To where, like, it was rushed the last time to get it into place. So now, again, just speaking from myself, I've known all these kids. I truly believe I am the best person for this job. What one lacks in experience, you don't gain experience unless you're given an opportunity to get experience. You don't just walk into any job and like, okay, I already have the experience for it. So from my standpoint, I just need the opportunity. Like Mr. Nogi said, these boys are already behind schedule. I know Spizak's a great guy. I actually, whenever I was fortunate enough to get an interview, reached out to Craig about being on staff if I got the job, because I know his rapport with the kids. But long story short, again, what are you guys looking for that myself or one of the other candidates didn't give you in the process already? Thank you.
So I would caution, and I know Greg, you're head of athletic committee, one of the things that probably wouldn't be shared in this venue, Shane, is any type of expectations, because as part of the hiring process, they have expectations and criteria and processes that they follow through. So sharing those expectations would kind of put a glitch in what that process is and the fairness and equity of that process. And then I guess Greg, any of those other questions. I mean, I think this position, and they're taking the time to make sure that they're doing this properly. And if that means it takes an extra, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I think the board and the athletic committee, and Greg, you can tell me if I'm wrong, are really working hard to do their due diligence to make sure that who they hire is who they believe to be appropriate. Not sure what you were referring to with regard to the last time the process was rushed through, because I can tell you the last time we hired a coach, this exact same process that the athletic committee has in place now.
To clarify that, it was when the job was just reopened last month. It was, we wanted to, from my understanding, to get it into place as soon as possible, because the boys were already behind schedule.
If you want to make sure it's done right, sometimes that takes a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's kind of, and Greg, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that's kind of where we are. We want to do it right.
The one thing, I'm getting phone calls, texts, private messages, whatnot from different parents that are concerned. One of the things you have to realize is it is a long process. We didn't decide till mid-December that we were even going to look. So really right now at this point, you're only looking at roughly a month that we've been in this process. When you look at the time involved with.
Including the holiday.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
So that's a
when you look at the time with posting a position, getting the resumes in, getting all the committee members to have that free night that they can sit down and review those, then picking and choosing who you're going to call and making sure that, again, everybody's free and the people that you want to interview are free. throw in there Christmas and New Year's, and the fact that it's only been a month, we've been putting a lot of hours into it.
Yeah, I know that.
And I can add that Mr. Stoller probably has put the most hours in,
Absolutely.
and due to his preparations for all this, a lot of which he did over the holidays, so
Yes.
we are not taking
Mr.
it
Sutherland was
Well, I
texting us
don't
on
think anybody's taking
Christmas.
it like me, I know, that's not what I was trying to get across. My thing is
What do you want to see? And that was your kind of question, like, what are,
my
what are
thing
you
is
expecting?
even if it's not me, or even everybody knows my affinity to Scott, I don't know, like, my talking about expectations is, who do we, at this point in the process, I don't know what coach we think might come out of the woodwork that's any more qualified than the ones that we've already spoke to. Because again, I'm in a rare position, I have kids that go to the school too. So if I'm no longer a coach here, like, you guys are still stuck with me anyways.
correct.
So, I mean,
This is part of personnel, and so they couldn't say that, because let's say there is somebody else yet to be interviewed, and they tell you now what they are looking for in the interview, that would give that person an unfair advantage over you, and maybe giving a candid interview. So during personnel, they won't discuss that. They know, I'm sure the athletic committee will come to a recommendation to the board as a whole, and they'll all discuss that together. So those expectations, I don't think they can answer that just yet until.
maybe expectation wasn't the right word.
I think, and time is up, but I think that the due diligence of the committee is being done. I think they're working hard, and I think at the end of the day, they're gonna come up with what they believe to be the best candidate and the best fit for this district. And if that takes a little bit longer, then that's the process they should do as a board.
I appreciate the comment.
And we all realize that the varsity football coaching position, we're in Western Pennsylvania, the highest profile position in the district. It honestly is. More than, I mean, from a profile of what the community's looking at and sees, there's more emphasis put on varsity football coach than there are the teachers that get hired. Not that that's the right thing,
Yeah.
but it is. So we, the committee, want to make sure that we're putting every effort that we can into choosing the right person, because we know that it is high profile, and that the decision we make is going to be scrutinized no matter what the outcome is. So.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Yes.
Pretty much the same thing. If you want me to come down there, I can. I can stand here. That's pretty much everybody
Just
knows
make sure you
me.
state your name, just in case.
Chris Waldeer. My biggest thing is, we keep looking for coaches instead of looking at the right areas. The right areas are, we're getting killed in the conferences we're in, aligned every 2 years. We can't compete with North Catholic. We can't compete with Aliquippa. Teams we can compete with are like Derry, EF. Lately we haven't, because we have no numbers of kids playing the sport. Everyone says, oh, we'll get a new coach, we'll get more kids to come out. The generations have changed. It passed me by, believe me. I love this game. I don't want to see it go. But with 20-some kids, if they can't compete Monday through Friday in practice, how do you expect them to go Friday night and play football and compete? They don't know how to compete. That's not the kids' fault. That's the numbers' fault. I don't know how to fix it. I wish I did. I'd fix it tomorrow. I love watching these kids play. But quit blaming the coaches. It isn't the coaches. Believe me, I've been here through 3 coaches. And I sat there as a parent and yelled down, that coach stinks. I'm sure you heard me in the stands. But then I look and go, what would I do different? How would I coach those kids? And I've coached most of them that are down there now at the midget level. And we won and we lost. The numbers of the midgets dropped way down. Of course your high school numbers are going to drop down. I don't know how to fix it. But until we stay, how do I want to put it?
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent, and stay with what we're trying to do, instead of reaching out looking for coach here or coach here or Right now, it's hard. Even if you get a head coach, trying to find staff to fit on there, they're already gone. Anybody qualified, they're in the programs already. We're going to be into February looking for a coach, and then he's going to be looking for a staff. That's the problem we're gonna have. We have consistency now. Our numbers are our problem, and the conference we're in is our problem.
The conference issue is being addressed right now.
Yeah, by the whitfield. I mean, you can vote on it, but you can't control what the whitfield does.
You can't control it, but I mean,
If they put us in the Brownsville category, the team we have right now, plus the middle school kids coming up, I ain't gonna guarantee it, but they should be a playoff team. If they put them in the other bracket with Norwin, Ross, Straver, we'll be the only 3A team in the conference. We're gonna get killed again. Then they're gonna go, wow, that coach stinks. He can't win a game. Then you look on our sideline, there's 28, we had 28 kids dressed, healthy, most of the game. You looked across the other sideline, 50 to 60 kids. How do you compete with that? That's our problem. That's where we need to look. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Should be one for all of them.
You want me to pass?
Yeah, pass it
Out?
out. Yeah,
Is there one for me?
yes. If I can count. There should be 10.
Is there one for the solicitor? I'll make one for sure.
No, again, it was, my name is Bucky Crouch, we're Smithton. Was passing out and would like the board to, consider on looking into having the Pennsylvania Clay team again for the high school. That's the information and the policies and everything with it. Again, we've already talked to Shannon Gun Club. They're on board to sponsor the team. Again, we'd be looking to just have the high school approve the, use of the name. There would be no cost to the high school. It's all funded through the parents. There is no travel, it's all shot at Shaner. I know as this sport keeps gaining, recognition, nationally and in the state. I mean, Norman now has a team locally. Hempfield's pretty close to getting a team. The other local team, Connellsville, they're steady. Their numbers at 100. We've also, Drake participated down at the Bentworth team since, we were able to go to a different high school since we didn't have it here. And one of the biggest things for him, he shot, but it wasn't very often. It wasn't the same. He didn't have camaraderie with the teams, even though he was one of the top shooters down there. That's what a lot of them kids last time were looking into, is being able to represent Yough. They don't play baseball, they don't play football, they're not in a band, they're not, in performing arts. They want their chance to represent Yough in a shooting sport. So, take a look at it, and hopefully, next week we'll be able to discuss it more if you got questions. And, look forward to getting the team and kids participating. Has anybody got questions right now on it?
Could you tell me what districts already have this in place? I missed what you said. Connellsville?
Connellsville has it, locally, Norman has it, Bentworth has it locally. I'm trying to think the other one that's down.
I want to say Fort Cherry.
Yeah,
But
Fort
I'm not
Cherry.
positive.
Yeah, Fort Cherry has it
Correct.
because that's where Joey shoots.
Correct.
Without having it.
Okay, Fort Cherry, Connellsville, Norman, and Bentworth. That's a good start. Thank you.
Yeah, in Norman.
Norman.
What type of liability insurance does Norwin have on their cost, for total liability?
I can find that out from Norman.
It's saying only 250,000. I find that hard to believe that that's that low.
It's, when we looked into it last time, that liability insurance and everything was carried was higher than any of the other, organizations that, the youth organizations that participate in youth high school facilities. This ain't even on the high school, facility or anything.
Hey, Bucky, are you looking at grades 9 through 12 or 10 through 12 or?
I mean, the program is open all the way from 6 through 12. You know, at the board's recommendation, we can limit it 9 through 12.
Under eligibility, that's what I was reading.
Oh, 9 through 12, they did change it now?
Maybe we'll change that.
Okay.
It says usually.
Online, I can tell you
usually
that online it
comprise.
still says 6 through 12. On
Yeah,
the
that's-
online website, it still
yeah.
says 6 through 12. So unless they just didn't change their online website, yeah.
I didn't. Oh, okay,
John,
they said something.
I read it, I just said it says, association is usually comprised of grades 9 through 12.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, well, that-
yeah, online it says
on the
6
website
through
it
12,
says-
but, yeah.
What type of liability insurance would you carry if hypothetically, I mean, are you gonna carry $250,000, millions, or it would fall into the schools?
We have to call them.
Not if it's on our program.
If it's our program, we would have to carry the liability, we have to get a quote from their insurance.
What if it's not our program, an outside program, but you,
All it uses is the name.
but if it uses our name, that's no problem. If they use Yough, and not Yough High School, if they just call it Yough PA, they target lead, there's no issue, they can have a team tomorrow.
We would do an indemnification, if you try to do that, will indemnify us for using it.
But then are we responsible for
Then,
this?
yeah, we'll still grab that.
And we're responsible for that at that point, with no control over coaches or anything like that. And that was the issue in past, because nobody thinks that the program's not good, but we all are supportive of the program. It's that liability piece that is a problem. If they would just use Yough PH, they target lead, this is it's done. I don't understand why they can't, and I know you don't understand that either, we've had that conversation. I just don't understand.
How about if the parents signed a waiver removing Yough School District of the liability? Appreciate with that.
It's not usually the parent, it's if you injure someone else that's not our team member.
Could be somebody else. Well, it's
Somebody should send it on target, whatever would happen. Right, somebody at the club.
Yeah.
There's additional issues. When it's a school sanctioned activity, there's certain rules and procedures you have to follow. So we give you the name of the high school, you follow under rules and regulations, including, being in our collective bargaining unit as a sponsor as a coach. You would have to follow through that. Transportation is a big issue.
There's no transportation.
But we still would have an
We still
obligation.
have obligations for certain team members that might want to be on it, if parents want to transport them. We have a transporting responsibility sometimes there. And additionally, we may have liability of parents transporting their students to school sanctioned activity and event. So we carry that liability on a plethora of other events, I'm sure. So we would just have to look at all of those movable parts, in here. And, usually school sanctioned events happen at schools. These obviously happen off-site, at clubs or whatever, and we don't know who's in there. It would only have people with clearances, other shooters, will they be in there before and after? Are there other firearms in there? Are there other ammunition in there? So there's a lot of questions that have to be ironed out if you want the school sanction on it. I think.
They can do it without the school sanction, that's been said since January 2018.
And we gave them, we're questioning them,
Which was.
as, just as hard as we're being questioned as to why they can't just use Yough. Because this would probably almost be a done deal if that were the case.
If they just use Yough, they can go tomorrow.
Yeah. No,
I don't understand.
I mean, I don't understand it either.
What's the
We
difference
reached out
if
to
it's
them,
Yough or
tried to
Yough
come
has?
online with them, and they will not budge.
If they want to help our kids and truly want to participate, it's not that big a deal. Use Yough. You're telling us it doesn't involve us, so just use Yough. And make it.
Well, I'm gonna
make
do
it
some
better.
more research with Norman and the other schools. I mean, there's obviously a way to do it with the high schools and the way the programs, go. Poor charities and schools.
Maybe Norman has it going through the school and
It could be a supplemental contract, who knows?
So if you could
Because
find
we do
that out.
yeah.
Well, the gentleman's unpaid, he's a retired colonel out of the Marines. But I'll contact him again. See where, see where they went with their school board. was
Yeah, I'd like to know the specifics of how the other districts are handling.
And I'll follow up, we'll follow up with the administration over there as well.
So that we can give it an honest look. How are they doing? Is it falling under collective bargaining? Is the school paying for the coaching? All those things need to be answered. before we can actually, consider that.
That's not a school-sanctioned sport, it's a club.
Okay, why would it be a club here then?
Clubs here are through the teacher's contract.
Yeah, through the supplemental,
We have, what?
through the supplemental.
Correct. Our clubs are all, like, if you think of Students Against Drunk Driving, yearbook, those are all clubs and they're all through the teacher's contract. We don't have separate clubs. Which could be done.
Yeah.
I mean, the contract, we're in the process of negotiations now, so you could negotiate something into the
Well, the
contract.
supplemental can be added or retracted at any time.
If you open the contract. You have to open the contract and put a supplemental in a teacher's contract. Although it is open right now for negotiation, so it is something that could be considered. as
You,
part of that
you
contract.
added 2 clubs a year before us, and that,
It was that contract we
No,
did
it wasn't.
earlier. Yeah, we did.
Wasn't.
We did.
by the union reps, they're saying that.
Which club are you referring to?
Art and French.
No, it's, the
They approved it as
the appropriate of the LGBTY or whatever.
I don't think that's, I don't know that that's a paid club.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be a paid club. This
Yeah.
one doesn't have to be a paid club. I mean,
We'll look into
We'll
what
investigate.
Norwood's doing and the other districts that you suggested that have these, and we'll communicate back with you.
Maybe Buck can get us some more information also, on the business also.
Well, we'll gather that out. Our administration, will call their administration, get all that information, that's no problem. We've done it before, we'll do it again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public? Any comments?
Chris Boucher, Rossdale. I would just, I would not agree that the high school football coach is the most important position facing our district.
I never said it was the most important, I said it was the highest profile. There's a complete
Okay, well,
difference
highest
there.
okay, pardon me then. Highest profile for me, it's not at all. So I guess that's, on an individual basis. I would say that it would be the business manager and the superintendent of our school district. And I just wanted to put a kudos out to Jim tonight. Jim is, he's new to our district. The way he's handled the last 2 meetings, to me is just amazing. He knows the answers. I think that a great decision was made there, and I just want to thank you. That shows due diligence, in my opinion, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? No other comments? Motion to adjourn?
Kenders.
Motion by Kenders. Second by Dahl. Time is 9:05. All in favor? Aye.